There we go. So, good evening. Welcome to the second session from week number 6 from our advanced level. In this class, we're going to cover verbs in their subjunctive form, and we're going to discuss about subject-verb agreements using some quantifiers. So, we're going to start by reading some statements, 9 statements that we have over here, and you are going to choose if one of the statements is true to you, okay? So keep in mind that we're talking about correct language. What is correct language, okay? So let's start with the first one. So we have proper English. Number 1, most people don't need to write well. Speaking is more important. What do you think?
For me, no.
You don't agree with this one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why? Can you elaborate a little bit?
I think both of them are important.
Okay, both skills.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Remember that with think, you have a TH, okay? Think.
think.
Good. Okay. Let's see number 2. Please go ahead and help me by reading it.
The majority of teenagers use too much slang. Mm,
Are you
I
familiar with the word slang?
yeah. I don't
Okay.
remember how to explain English, but yeah, I know how it's slang.
Slang is the short version of street language. That's what it stands for. Street language. So it's basically the words that we usually use that you can hear every day on the street. They are not very formal. No, I mean, let me rephrase that. They are not formal at all, but it's how people communicate, okay?
Mhm.
It's not grammatically correct, but it's how people communicate and they can understand each other. So, what do you think? The majority of teenagers use too much slang?
Yeah.
I would say so as well. Okay, good. Number 3, 3/4 of email messages contain grammar errors. What do you think?
I think no, because regularly email is a important message, yeah, and this
Mhm.
kind of message usually don't contain grammar errors.
Grammar errors, okay. The difference between an error and a mistake is that when you make an error, you know what's the mistake, what is the problem, the issue, okay? When you make a mistake, you don't know what is the problem. So it's an innocent way of acting, okay? But when it is an error, you know for sure what is the problem so you can correct it. I'm just giving you a short example. Let's say that you write, instead of write, you write this, white. But you meant right.
Yeah.
You know that this is not the spelling, this is the spelling. So because you know the correct way of writing the word, it is an error, okay? If
Okay.
it's an unknown word, a word that you don't know, and you just write it like that, it's a mistake, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. And I would also say that now, well, Gmail at least has a spelling grammar checker, right? It shows you if the word has a mistake or something, or has bad spelling. So in that sense, I think we have a lot of resources and helps, additional helps, to make our writing better. Okay, good. Please go ahead with number 4.
No one expects email to be correct.
What do you think?
Um, it's similar to the before sentence.
The
For me, a
previous, the
previous sentence.
previous.
A email for me is a kind of important message,
Mm-hmm.
and when I receive an email, I expect that the email will be correct.
It's correct. That the email is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Good. Okay. Number 5. There are plenty of people with foreign accents who speak English well. What do you think about that?
What is plenty?
Several, a lot of.
Okay. Uh,
So you could say there are lots of people with foreign accents who speak English well.
yes.
You would say yes.
But in I don't know, in this kind of English, it's similar to when we are talking in Spanish, and for example in Colombia we have a lot of accents, but it's a kind of Spanish,
Mm-hmm. It is.
because the expressions and something like that is very different in different regions.
Of course. Uh-huh. So does it mean that it's bad Spanish because of that?
Not necessarily it's about Spanish.
Exactly. I agree with you. It's just a matter, it's a way of showing that you belong to a different place.
Yeah.
So it's important that you can keep your accent, of course, because you have a previous language that you have learned as a mother tongue, which is in this case Spanish. But also is because you're showing that you come from a different culture, you have different customs. However, it does not mean that you can pronounce words incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing is the accent that you have, and another way is that when you mispronounce a word. So those are two different things, right? Have you heard Sofia Vergara speaking in English?
No.
You haven't? Never?
No. Oh, I don't remember exactly when, how
Ah, I'm gonna show you a video at the end of
goes.
the class about her. She has a very strong accent, very strong. She's not faking the accent. That's just how she speaks. But she can't get rid of her accent. That's the way she speaks. And she speaks very good English. So,
For
okay.
example, when I heard Britain English,
Yes,
understand this English is very difficult for me because I don't uh, hear this accent a lot, and some words sound very different than American English.
of course. You have to, let's say, get used to the language in order to be able to understand it better. Pero yes, of course. It's you need to get used to it. I would say it's the same as in Spanish. I find sometimes hard to listen to people from La Costa, los costeños. And I speak Spanish, but sometimes they speak so I don't know, jammed and
Yeah.
they shorten words and all of that. That it's very complicated. And I speak Spanish as a mother tongue, but it's the same because I am not used to listening to them. So, but in this case, if you would like to maybe travel or just to learn, a good way to start training your ear is to look for information, communication, news, series in that specific accent so you can practice and become more familiar with that. Okay, that's one way.
Okay.
Okay, good. Let's see, number 6. None of us has the right to correct other people's grammar. What do you think about that?
In question of grammar, I think I don't know, the words have a specific form to write, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it's true.
So no one has the right, no one can correct you grammar.
No, the opposite.
So, okay, people should or
Yeah,
must or need to correct your grammar. Okay, well, there are some people who do not like it. I would say that teachers, we are the ones who need to correct grammar in order just to, as you said, keep the way the language is. Same in Spanish. I mean,
yeah.
you don't go through life saying words incorrectly.
In my group of friends, I have a friend that is very picky with grammar, and when I miss a comma or I don't know how you say tilde,
An accent.
an accent, he always correct me and remark
Correct.
corrects me and
Corrects
remark
me.
there.
Okay, and has that, I mean, has that been helpful for you? Does it
Uh,
help you? Do you
yeah,
learn about accents or not really?
because in some years ago, for example, I don't usually
I
uh,
didn't.
I didn't uh, I didn't use regularly, for example, the commas, and when I type or something like that, my ideas
Mhm,
not show that the real meaning that I was typing, yeah.
mhm.
And yeah, this kind of corrections is good in these cases.
Exactly. No, yeah, I agree with you. That's a way of course, also to learn. Okay, good. Help me with number 7, please. All varieties,
All varieties of English are equally valid. Every variety is correct.
variety is
But,
correct.
but I,
So it means every version of English. As you already mentioned, Spanish has different types of Spanish, right? You can have different accents, different way of speaking, and it's different versions, different varieties. So you can find Mexican Spanish, Argentinian Spanish, Chilean Spanish, Spanish from Central America, which is kind of similar a little bit. Um, and of course, the different accents and words that you can find in South America as well. So, do you think that all varieties of English are equally valid?
for me, yes, because this kind of varieties show the different cultures.
Exactly, the different, remember that
Different.
adjectives do not have plural, different cultures. Okay, good. Number 8, a lot of advanced grammar is complicated, even for native speakers. What do you think?
Um, Maybe yes. For example, our native is language is Spanish, and in the college or in the school, we learn Spanish and a lot of structures about Spanish, and yeah, because advanced grammar is difficult in all languages.
Yeah, in all languages, I agree with you. I mean, complex grammar is not very used, therefore it's complicated to be able to master it in any language. Okay, good. And number 9.
Only a minority of my friends cares about speaking correctly.
Okay, minority.
Minority, okay.
What do
I
you think?
think it's false. False.
Oh, so most of your friends care about speaking correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Good. I thought it was going to be the opposite. Okay, nice. Thank you for sharing your idea. So let's get into the matter. So we're going to start by talking about the subjunctive. The subjunctive is one of the topics that it's complicated in most of Romance languages, meaning Spanish, French, all of them. And we also have it here in English. So in English, fortunately, it's not that complicated. And this is a form that we use by adding the base form or by having the base form of the verb. We usually use the subjunctive in very formal language, and we use it to express wishes or a necessity that you have. So if you notice, we already have talked about how to express wishes, right? I wish I have different type of wishes, and we also can express necessities in a different way. But the subjunctive in this case is a more formal way to express those two situations, okay? The difference here is that when we use the subjunctive, we are not going to use the third person rule that we usually follow in simple present, okay? It might sound a little bit odd, weird at the beginning, but it's just how it is. So let's see some examples. Number one, I demand that everyone have an opportunity to speak. Number two, Maria insisted that she be notified of any problems. If you notice over here, we kind of have a pattern, right? We have a that before the subject that we have over here in this part of the clause. So I demand that, Maria insisted that. You see? That is a pattern that we have when we use the subjunctive. And of course, there are some verbs, some expressions that we can use in order or to follow in order to use the subjunctive. So we can use verbs like demand, insist, propose, recommend, request, and suggest. And after that, we can include the subjunctive form, which is the base form of the verb. No S, okay, in the third person. So we are going to say, I think consumers need to insist that, fíjate que tenemos insist and the that. Advertisements be truthful in every respect. Number two, some ads seem to demand that the customer buy the product. And number three, consumer groups demand that children's advertising follow certain rules. So if you notice, these are more, let's say, advanced structures, which we are using to express either a necessity or a wish. And we are including the expressions with the verbs demand, insist, propose, recommend, request, and suggest. In all of them, we are including also the particle that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We also have some expressions that you can use that are frequently used when we use the subjunctive, which are, it is crucial, same as in Spanish. It is imperative, similar to Spanish. It is important. It is essential. It is vital. And it is critical. So these expressions also help us to introduce the subjunctive. And of course, after them, we're also using the that. Let's see the examples. I believe it is essential that an ad be clever and witty in order to be effective. Ad mean an advertisement, okay? Number 2, it is imperative that politicians stick to their promises. Maybe that's not very possible, but it's a wish that we have. Number 3, it is important that an ad make a product useful. Okay? Questions so far?
Yeah, but it's about vocabulary.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I know the word stick, how
Mhm.
palo, but in this case it's a verb, yeah?
It is a verb, and it means to be true to their promises, como be loyal, or let's say, como think about the stick and how you paste another stick together, right? So the action of putting them together is to attach, right?
Yeah,
So stick in this case means to attach to their promises, like adhere to the promises.
okay.
Okay. One word that we can use here is this one. Okay.
Okay.
And you usually use stick to. I mean, you can use a stick without the preposition to mention stick something on, meaning to glue something. But if we are talking about the adhering things, joining things, we are going to use stick to, okay? Just adhere to. So in this case means to, they are truthful or loyal to their promises, right?
Okay.
Any other?
Yeah, it's a question about a word advertisement. What is
Advertisement.
that advertisement? Yeah. What is the reason in some case use the complete word on in some case use ad?
You mean the way of shortening it?
Yeah.
I would say it's a matter of style preference. Maybe if you are talking about, let's say, when you want to be specific about the type of advertisement, you can use the whole word, okay? So advertisement for children or things like that. There is no, I don't think there is a particular reason why in some cases you can use it as the complete word and in some others you can just add the short version. I would say it's a matter of preference or
Okay.
style, and it's very common to use ad instead of saying advertisement because it's a very long word.
Yeah,
So
I usually use ad, but I think I don't uh, I haven't now if it's a correct form to use that because I think is I don't know how like when the people wants to be reduce a word for for yes and
okay.
use at because it's more easily
Yeah.
pronounce at instead of advertisement.
No, I would say it's correct to
Okay.
use either of them. I mean, it's just um of course, as we have noticed before, um English likes to be short, right? Because they
Yes.
are because of a cultural particularity that it has. So English is very straightforward. You go straight to the point. You don't go doing raps or rumbling around. No, you go straight to the point. So I would say that's why they have that tendency to shorten things, to be very specific about what they need or they want. So it is an abbreviation, but it's just, I would say in this case, it's not just a matter of maybe following a particular specific rule, but more about preference or style. It does not follow the rule that maybe the short version is less formal, because I have seen in informal language as well. So it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other?
No.
No? Good. Okay.
Yes.
Let's continue. Okay. We can also use some other verbs that can be followed by the that clause with the subjunctive verb. So we have advise, beg, require, stipulate, ask, prefer, specify, and vote. So let's see some examples. He advised that his students be on time, instead of saying his students are on time. Listo? Number 2, our store policy clearly stipulates that all sales associates report to work by 8:30. And number 3, the store required that each customer open his or her bag for inspection. Okay? And we can also use the subjunctive in a negative form. In that case, we're not going to use an auxiliary as we usually do in other type of verb tenses, but we're going to add the not, the negation, the particle of the negative form, and the base form of the verb that we are using, okay, before the verb. So let's see some examples. The advertising executive's contract required that he not receive a bonus this year, or that year, sorry. And number 2, the parents insisted that the children not watch television at all. And number 3, I would prefer that companies not send me spam email of any kind. So if you notice, we can also use it in the negative form, but we just have to be aware of how to form that negative. Okay?
Okay.
Questions thus far?
No.
Okay, and we can also use the subjunctive in passive forms, okay? And we're going to use the be, the base form of the verb, plus the past participle in order to form the subjunctive in the passive, okay? So we're going to have examples like the sponsors ask that their product be featured prominently in the movie. Or number 2, the manufacturers prefer that their shaving cream not be endorsed by misbehaving stars. Number 3, the company demanded that the commercial be pulled from TV after public outcry. So we can also use it in a passive form, okay?
Okay.
Questions?
Yeah.
Anything else?
For the verb in past participle is not refer that the sentence is in past, yeah?
Tell me, say that again, please. The first part of the sentence. The sponsors asked. The manufacturers preferred. Yes, you're starting the sentence with simple past.
Okay.
And then the next part can be referred by using the form of the be and the past participle. And if you notice, we're not using that in this form. You see?
Okay.
Not as common as we were checking. You would use it if you want at the beginning. The sponsors asked that, or the manufacturers preferred that. Listo? But in the case of demanded, we don't have the that. Okay,
Okay.
listo? And we have the verbs that we checked before. Ready to practice?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So let's check. We're going to choose the correct form of the verb in order to complete the sentences. So please go ahead and read number 1.
It is essential that she be at the meeting.
Okay, number 2. If I was or were you, I would call her right now.
If I was.
Tell me.
If I was.
Number 3. Is it necessary that every student a uniform?
Where? Where?
Where?
Where?
Where? Okay. Number 4, go ahead.
I hope that he finish his homework on time.
Here we go. Number 5, the doctors recommended that she a holiday.
Take.
Number 6, go ahead.
The boss asked that you be early for your first day of work.
Okay. Number 7, if he feeling better, he would go.
Where?
A wish, right? Number 8, go ahead.
It is important that we call home as soon as we arrive.
Okay. Number 9, the landlord requested that John out of the apartment.
Move.
And we have requested, right? And the last one, we want the windows washed before Friday.
It is be.
Notice that we are not using here past,
Yeah.
but we can use the passive form as well here. Listo? Can we correct that?
Yeah.
I think we have a mistake. We have one mistake. Entonces, yes, 80%. And the mistake that we have is on number 2. If you, I would call her tonight.
Yeah.
This is a wish. Remember that we usually say if I were. Yes, as you did over here.
Yes.
Listo? Okay. Questions about it?
No.
No? Okay, good. Ay, aquí, ¿qué pasó? Me equivoqué with the one. The slide, I'm sorry. Okay, now let's move on to the second part, which is the subject-verb agreement with quantifiers, okay? With some quantifiers that we can use. So we're going to talk about collective nouns. Have you heard about collective nouns before? Or no idea?
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, those are words or phrases that refer to a group of people. Okay?
Okay.
As part of one entity, but the group, of course, means a lot of people inside of it, okay? But collective nouns, we usually treat them as singulars, okay? Not because they refer to a group and the group has more than one member, 2, 5, 10 million, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to use plural, okay? Let's see the example. The film festivals selection committee, fíjate que a committee, it's a group in which several people are part of. So in this case, we use consist of filmmakers, film programmers, and critics. You see? So we are treating the committee as a singular form, okay?
Okay.
Yes? But there are also different collective nouns that can be plural, okay? When we communicate this or we specify the members or the components of the group are acting individually, not as a unit, okay? Rather than as a unit. So it's the case of choir. The choir were all warming up in different keys. So each member of the choir, each one of them were warming up in different keys. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let me entonces move to the other one. Ah, there we go. No, this one. Okay. So we have some collective nouns como all or all of, a lot of, lots of, plenty of, some or some of, most or most of, and fractions. This group that we have over here can be taken as a singular, okay? As a singular verb if the noun they modify is uncountable. So if the noun we are using is uncountable or singular, they are going to be singular in the verb, okay? And they take a plural verb if the noun they modify is plural. Let's check the difference here. So a lot of advanced grammar is complicated. Here, advanced grammar has is uncountable and it is referring only to that part. Entonces, a lot of the advanced grammar is complicated. ¿Listo? Or 3/4 of email messages. Aquí, I am specifying the parts of the email messages. They are working as an individuality, okay? So 3/4 of email, and then we have the plural, messages contain grammar errors, okay? Let's see. Now, the group of words that are each of, every of, none of, and collective nouns, ¿listo? Como the majority of or the minority of, you typically take a singular verb, but they can take also a plural after a plural noun. So if they have a plural noun, they can also take a plural form of the verb, meaning none of us has or have the right to correct other people's grammar. Or we could also say the majority of teenagers use or uses too much slang. Okay?
It's not clear at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Let me show you about, I think you don't remember very well about collective nouns. Entonces, let me show you what they are, okay? Entonces, let's move over here so I can show you what they mean, okay?
Okay.
Wait. What am I Very soon. Here. Okay, collective nouns are nouns, okay, that have a special connotation, a special type of nouns, and they refer to a group, okay, or a collective of people. It could be of animals, of people as well, or things or ideas. So in those cases, you would say things like, let me change the color, I don't like red. A band of. A band, it's a noun, but it refers to a group of, in this case, people, right? A band of men, okay?
Yes.
A cast of actors, a stack of librarians, okay? A sentence of judges, a galaxy of beauties. So these are these collective words that refer specifically to a group or a collective of people, animals, or things. ¿Listo?
Okay.
In animals is very common, okay? So you would say, well, a colony of gulls or a brood of hens. So a group of hens is called a brood of hens, okay? A group of turkeys, it's called a flock of turkeys, right?
Okay.
As Spanish, we say manada, horda,
Howdy.
I
Yeah.
forgot all the ones in Spanish. Yeah, all the groups of animals and things are these ones. For example, a culture of bacteria, ¿cierto? A flight of butterflies, which is a group of butterflies, okay? And when we talk about things, we have collective nouns like a bottle of milk, a bottle of milk. So you are specifying, right? A bowl of rice. ¿Listo? A packet of tea or a package of cookies. Things like that, okay?
Okay.
These usually appear as singular, okay, in formal grammar, even though they represent multiple, several individuals or objects. That's why you say a jug of water. ¿Listo? And then the verb that you use is singular. Okay? A jug of
Okay.
water is free for you. So you can drink a jug of water. Okay?
Okay.
And some of the common ones are team, flock, bunch. Entonces, you say the team is playing well. You don't say the team are. ¿Listo?
Okay.
The team are playing well. They are usually singular. If you want to express that they are different type of groups, you will have to say the teams, ¿cierto?
Yeah.
Ahora sí puedes usar are playing well. Okay?
Okay.
So those are the groups that we use. Here, we cannot use are porque it's only one team. But in this one, on the second one, we can use the are because we are expressing that is more than one team. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, let's go back to our subject-verb agreement with quantifiers. So the quantifiers are these words: everyone, someone, anyone, no one, each, and we use them with a noun. ¿Cierto? Everyone, let's say, let me think with everyone. Everyone who performs, usually we use it in singular, no? Everyone who performs tonight should be ready, for example. ¿Listo? And the ones that we have here, every variety is correct. O sea, variety refers to maybe several or different types of elements, pero the word variety functions as one. Yes?
Okay. Yes.
Is that clear now?
Yes.
Now, we can also have quantifiers that refer to maybe a plural noun, ¿cierto? And in that case, we can use plural, como es el case de a large number or a large amount, ¿cierto? You could say a large, a small, or a great. Y puedes decir number of. ¿Listo? A large number of people, a small number of children, or a great amount of dogs, ¿cierto? Usando this expression, you can use a plural verb. ¿Listo? A large number of students in my class were absent on Friday. So with these ones, I can use plural. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the other one. When we have a collective noun, como majority or minority, ¿cierto? That they act as a unit, así se refieran a un group, right? We can use singular. Entonces, we will say, all students can express their opinions, but the majority rules. Here, I am using the singular form. ¿Cierto?
Yes.
Because they tell me that I can use the singular form of the verb. Okay? Let's see another example. In the United States, Spanish speakers constitute a linguistic minority that is growing rapidly. Fíjate que in the first part of the sentence, I am expressing plural forms. In the United States, Spanish speakers, y tengo constitute. But then the second part of the sentence, the subordinative clause that I am linking to the other one, since I am using the word minority, the word minority refers to plural, to singular, sorry. ¿Listo? Igual acá, the majority rules. Even though I am using all students at the beginning. Solamente con esas words, minority, majority, ¿ok?
Okay.
No es como con a bunch of birds o a flight of butterflies, entonces play in the, I don't know, in the ground. No, solo con estas words, ¿ok? But, majority and minority, when they are followed by a plural form, fíjate que aquí no tienen un plural form, ¿cierto?
Yeah.
They don't have. But when they have a plural form of the verb be, ¿cierto? Aquí la clave es the verb be, they can be used in the plural form. Entonces, look, if you ask my father about young people today, he'll tell you that the majority are slackers. ¿Por qué? Because here I have a plural, slackers. That's why I can take a plural here with the verb be, solo con el verb be, okay? And let's see the second one. People who are concerned with using language correctly, only a small minority are linguistics. ¿Listo? Porque aquí ya termina mi sentence and the noun is plural. Different from this one. Fíjate que aquí my sentence finishes with the verb. No tengo aquí un noun. Okay? In these cases, I have a noun after the verb be.
Okay.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Over here we have the summary, right? So
Yes.
the important thing here is to pay attention to the quantifiers. ¿Listo? All of, a lot of, lots of, plenty of, some of, most of. You can use them usually, so you don't complicate your head, singular. ¿Listo? ¿Cuándo? When you have an uncountable noun. ¿Listo?
Okay.
That's the rule. Si tú no tienes un uncountable nouns, sino an accountable one, como, no sé, como pens, things like that, pues you can use plural, okay? Now, when you have each of, every one of, none of, and collective nouns como majority and minority, you can take, in this case, any of them, singular or plural, okay? Any of them. Usually, you're going to use plural, like in these cases, when you use informal speech, informal language, ¿listo? But you can use both. I've seen more formal, let's say, writing, and they use singular as well. So it's fine, ¿listo? And if you have words like everyone, someone, anyone, no one, each, a noun, each of the people, things like that, every citizen, every, ¿cierto? In those cases, you're going to use singular, okay?
Okay.
So you just need to pay attention when you are making a sentence that has these quantifiers, okay?
Okay.
If you are not using a sentence with these quantifiers, you don't have to bother yourself following these kind of rules, okay?
Okay.
That's why this is advanced grammar. But if you do, it's better to pay attention to them, okay? Same with the collective nouns como a large, a small, a great, number of. I have also used it with a large amount of. ¿Listo? O sea, no solo a large number of, but a large amount or a small amount of. ¿Listo? That's also a possibility that you can find. ¿Listo? And when you have, well, the ones that we check, the collective nouns como majority and minority, you are going to use singular. ¿Listo? If they refer, remember, they finish with the verb and they refer only to a single group. But you can also use the plural if you refer to, if you are going to use a plural noun. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to practice?
Yes.
Let's see how do we do with these ones. Okay, we're going to complete the sentences with the simple present form of the verb in parentheses. So we have an example here. A lot of people, we have a lot of. So it is singular. Agree, no es, no? Digo plural, sorry, no es, ¿cierto? That
Yeah.
spelling and grammar shouldn't change. ¿Por qué? Because you are referring to an action that each individual is doing. ¿Listo? And a lot of people. Number 2, all of the students in my class, we have attend English club meetings. Number 3, most of the faculty at school speak at least 3 languages. Number 4, a quarter of my classmates be going to study abroad next semester. Number 5, the majority of people use the text-to-speak in their emails. Number 6, none of the information in the email be correct. Number 7, every letter I receive usually contain 1 or 2 spelling mistakes. And number 8, over 4/5, una fraction, of the world population be able to read and write. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to give you 4 minutes, okay? And you can write on the screen, and then we're going to check, okay? Go ahead. Ready? Ryan, can you listen to me?
Yes.
Ah, okay, good, good. I thought it was a problem with my microphone or something. Listo. Go ahead. Start with number 2.
Have the students in my class attend English club meetings?
Okay. Why do we use attend?
Okay. Is in this occasion is all of
All of.
all of, but I have a doubt with the
I
noun.
have with what? Excuse me?
With the noun because it's students,
Students.
and I maybe
Hmm?
because the noun is students, I need to use attend in plural.
Yes, but that only happens. Let's go back. That happens with, look, when we have a lot of, you have it with uncountable, okay? If the noun is uncountable or singular. Listo? So in this case, what do you think?
Students is countable.
It is countable.
Yeah.
So
I need the plural verb.
you can add the plural in this case. So I'm gonna help you by adding it. Okay, that's why you have to. That's why you have to check if it is countable or not. Okay. Listo. Number 3. Most of the faculty at school speak at least 3 languages. There we go. We have most of. We have the collective noun faculty. And in this case, we need to take singular, right?
Singular, yes.
Exactly. Number 4, go ahead.
Quarter of my classmates are going to study abroad next semester.
So in this case, we have a fraction, right?
Yeah.
Quarter of my classmates, and classmates in this
Is
case
plural.
is plural. Countable noun. Okay, good. Number 5.
The majority of people use text speak in their email.
So in
In
this
their
case,
emails.
in this case, we have an uncountable noun afterwards, which is text speak, right? Yes?
Sorry, I don't understand
So in
this
this
part.
case, we have the majority,
Yes.
right? But we are referring here of about text speaks in their emails, okay? So this is the one. Let me go back. And it's because I have the wrong one. Look, in this case, where is the majority? I cannot change it. Over here. You have the majority, okay? But in this case, it is not acting as a single unit, but you are, let's say, talking about each of them doing the action individually. Como en el case del choir, ¿te acuerdas? The one that we checked, the choir. So that's why. Okay, listo, good. Next one.
None of the information in the email is correct.
Exactly. So we have the verb be, right?
Yes.
And we have none of. So in this case, it's singular. Listo. Number 7. Every letter I receive usually, and we have contain 1 or 2 spelling mistakes. Right? So over here, we have every letter. So, each of the letters. Acting as a plural. Okay. And number 8.
Overpowered 4/5 of the world population is able to read and write.
Exactly. So over here, we have 4/5, but we have the world population. So it's
Yeah.
count.
It's uncountable.
Exactly. So we have verb to be. So in this case, it's singular. Okay. Difficult?
No.
It's very picky because you have to pay attention if it is countable or not.
Yeah.
I would say that's the key. And if you are using verb be. Okay.
Yes. For example, in the case of contain, and if the sentence be plural, it's contents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. It is. Okay. Any
Okay.
other questions
No.
regarding them? The subject verb agreement? Okay. So that will be all for today. Thank you for being in class with me today.
Thank you, teacher, for the class.
I'm going to show you the Sophia